Transitional government. Gambia registered over 100 new COVID-19 cases and 3 deaths. In the face of the global pandemic, Kenyan workers ventured into Facemark business to make a living. You're watching the news desk on iAfrica TV with me, Juldenjai Suare, and now to the news in detail. The COVID-19 pandemic has triggered a wave of massive job cuts globally. In Kenya, many non-essential workers are forced to venture into Facemark business in order to earn a living. As part of the preventive measures against the coronavirus, the Kenyan government made the wearing of face masks mandatory. Now, face mask vendors hook at congested streets and other public places to fasten their sales. More of that in this report by Sohna Tunkara.
Transitioning from the usual routines as a worker to another job, particularly the selling of face masks amid a devastating pandemic, has frustrated many in earning a living. The mask hawkers wait outside malls and other buildings where those seeking entry must wear masks, or at public places to sell to their potential customers. Eugene is a Rwandan who moved to Kenya years ago and lost his job during the pandemic as the number of workers were reduced.
I was working as a security guard, but we were all sent home when the pandemic started.
As the pandemic continues, many people are venturing into the mask business, and the market has been flooded with different types. Although Eugene and his wife are yet to have a child, the earnings he gets from this trade are hardly enough to meet their needs.
I need to pay rent and buy food, but the mask business isn't doing so well right now.
Street mask vendors said sales have definitely fallen in recent weeks, as most buyers prefer buying reusable ones, which are more cost-effective. But vendors continue to turn up, saying it is their contribution in the fight against COVID-19.
Nowadays, most people have the masks already, so sales aren't as high as they once were. There isn't much money, as everyone now has a mask.
Kenya currently has more than 30,000 confirmed cases, with over 500 deaths. Hundreds of thousands of Kenyans have lost their jobs owing to the virus. For iAfrica TV, Sohna Tunkara.
Gambia registered 3 new COVID-19 related deaths on Sunday, bringing the total number of deaths to 87 since the first case was confirmed in the country in March. The median age of the 2 male and a female is 89 years, and the age bracket ranged from 37 to 93 years. The country has also recorded 148 new cases, taking the total number of COVID-19 cases ever confirmed in the country to 2,685. As indicated in the 125th National Situation Report by the Ministry of Health, 483 new laboratory test results received from the Medical Research Council, the Gambia, and the National Public Health Laboratory. Of these, 6 new tests returned inconclusive, 476 recoveries were made, and 23 new people were taken into quarantine, and 18 new discharges were made. The country currently has 296 people in quarantine, 2,108 active cases, 214 probable cases, and a crude case fatality ratio of 3.2%. The Ministry of Health said a bulk of the active cases are asymptomatic and are self-isolating at home depending the manifestation of symptoms. Now, the military junta in Mali that seized power in the West African nation wants a 3-year military transitional rule during a mediation meeting on Sunday with the ECOWAS regional bloc. More of that in this report by Fatou Fati.
The Malian military junta that took over the country's leadership from Ibrahim Boubacar Keita had talks with ECOWAS mediators on Saturday. The junta wants a military-led transitional body to rule the country for 3 years and has agreed to release ousted President Keita, according to AFP news agency. The transition would be led by military personnel who will also serve as the head of state. The AFP said that the military government has agreed to free President Keita, who has been detained since August 18. Keita will be able to return to his home in Bamako and will be able to travel for treatment abroad if he wants. Leaders of the military headed by Colonel Assimi Goita and mediators from ECOWAS West African Regional Bloc led by Nigeria's former president Goodluck Jonathan met behind closed doors on Sunday. Discussions are due to resume on Monday. Jonathan said they have agreed on a number of points but not yet on all the discussions. ECOWAS has called repeatedly for Keita to be reinstated, but thousands of Malians took to the streets of the capital Bamako on Friday to show their support for the coup.
That report by Fatou Fati will take us to our first break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching the news text on iAfrica TV, and now to the rest of our stories. Gambian opposition leader Ousainou Darboe said during the party's 24th anniversary on Sunday that the United Democratic Party will emerge as a winner in the next presidential, parliamentary and local government elections. Details of that in this report.
The UDP, which was the biggest challenger to dictatorship, shaped the polls in the 2017 parliamentary and local elections. Darboe, its Secretary General since inception in 1996, said he was confident his party will win the 2021 polls when he spoke on the occasion of UDP's 24th anniversary.
I want to tell you one thing, and I want you to take this to the bank. The presidential election that is coming in 2021, UDP is the winner.
Darboe's position on the upcoming election was re-echoed by Madi Cisse, the National Assembly member for Serekunda West. Honorable Cisse said the yardstick to measure the party's chances of winning the next elections could be found in its recent successes in previous polls.
It does not need to be a rocket scientist to be able to predict that. Every political party, you must have a baseline to make your predictions. The best time for the United Democratic Party is that we've been here for 24 years. We have our structures all over. And in the last political election cycles, the local governments and the parliamentary elections were fought on partisan tickets. And UDP took the lead in all these two important elections. So that's a benchmark for us to make a prediction. Nobody can doubt that.
The United Democratic Party is seen as the biggest political party in the Gambia. During the previous dispensation, it challenged and failed to win against Dictator Yaya Jammeh in 5 elections, all of which contested by its Secretary General, Ousainou Darboe. While the UDP's recent successes put it an edge over the other political parties, the question lingering in the minds of Gambians and political pundits is, can it replicate that successes in the December 2021 general elections? Reporting for iAfrica TV, I am Ibrahim Kebi Songo.
Now, the management of the Kanifing General Hospital last week announced the decision to convert the hospital into a COVID-19 treatment center. The move, according to the Director of Health Services, Dr. Mustafa Bitey, was prompted by the increased demand for beds for COVID-19 patients in the country. Gambia has recently joined African countries with the fastest growing number of COVID-19 cases, according to the World Health Organization. The Ministry of Health, or the Minister of Health, Dr. Mamadou Lamin Samate, had some months ago announced the procurement of up to 2,000 hospital beds to specifically address a possible surge of the virus in the country. The Kanifing General Hospital is considered as the most sophisticated facility next to the country's main referral hospital in Banjul. However, Dr. Mustafa Bitey, the Director of Health Services at the Ministry of Health, told iAfrica TV on Monday that preparations are not completed for the hospital to accommodate COVID-19 patients.
Today's operations or activities, at the hospital, is the hospital fully ready to accommodate the COVID-19 patients as it's going to be transformed for a treatment center?
No, it's not. It's a process that they are going, so it's not yet operational. So they are looking at it. They've done a first preliminary report and they've sent it. As to other things they will need that will operationalize that. And they are also doing a lot of trainings, and then after that we can decide on how we go about it.
Now that, of course, we were told that, effective today, the hospital will be turned to a treatment center. And now, and also considering that the number of COVID-19 cases are increasing, how many patients can be treated at the hospital at the moment? Should everything be ready?
I think you need to clarify one thing, that, the information that was going around, it's not like what was in the press release from government. As far as it's just people who got some information out which were not supposed to be out. That's the internal memo. So it's not communicated this day it will start. We're just dealing internally to make sure that everything is fine before we come out to the public and all the operational issues are dealt with. So, yes, and they are going through that. They've had the experts look at it and look at all the options. It's not that right now we've run out of treatment centers or we don't have beds for patients. No, it's just a contingency. Because we know that we are going to a stage where we'll be having so many cases.
Yeah, but it's also part of your plan to change the hospital to a treatment center, like you say, it's a contingency plan, and also
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, yeah. So it's a plan, and it's not like it has to be today exactly. So that was the plan to do that, So, but they've done reports, and we are looking at that, and there are a few things we need to put in place to ensure. And they are also recommending other things that we need to look at before we just embark on it.
At what level are you in terms of preparations? Like you say, it's not official, but people have been informed it's going to be starting today. But at what level are you in terms of preparing or getting ready for the hospital to start accommodating patients of COVID-19?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not that we've run out of space. It's not that we don't have space to handle this thing. So we have to do it very well. That's what we are working on. So right now we have other places that are not even used, like the fourth phase Memban is not still used, and that's a lot of beds there. So, but we need to do continuously. We don't need to wait until everything happens, then we start working on it. But you start planning well before so that it's done very well, and when the need arises, it will not affect the patients, because you have to do it in a seamless transition. There shouldn't be any problem with the patients who don't have COVID, who are coming there. The staff should all run nicely in a treatment center. So all those things have to be put in place, and those ones are operational issues.
Tell us, what is the state of the other patients that were at the hospital? Are they all transferred now to other hospitals?
So that's what I'm saying. The transition has to be smooth. And before we start using that place, all those things have to be dealt with nicely. And everyone has their place they go. And everybody else who refers to Canopy knows where he's referring now. And other facilities that need to be taken up to a higher level, that too also done, so that the burden on Bundung and Banjul will go down. So all these things have been looked at, and it will be done. But the process has started. It's not like we are rushing.
Finally, when we get to the time and eventually everything is completed and the hospital is changed to a COVID-19 treatment center, does it mean then no other person will be allowed or accepted to go for treatment at the hospital apart from COVID-19 patients?
Yeah, so we will communicate that to the public when the time comes. But there are two options. One is that it could be a totally COVID-19, but it could also be dealing with suspected cases, like have an isolation part.
That latest update from the Kanifing General Hospital brings us to the end of the news text. For more of these and others, join Amadou Kante at 17:13 GMT. I am Julden Yai Sware. Do have a pleasant day. Bye-bye.